Can you buy a property jointly with a family member and still get a loan for it? Obviously, when you buy with your wife, you can definitely get a loan. You buy with your husband, you can definitely get a loan. But when you buy with your brother or sister or your father or your mother, there are various terms and conditions around it. There are some banks who say that if you're buying a property along with a family member, we cannot do the loan. Most of the banks still do it with certain exceptions. So, for example, you are buying it with your brother and you have another brother or sister who's not part of the transaction. So, the bank might ask you for an NOC from your other brother who's not part of the transaction or other sister who's not part of the transaction. Suppose you're buying a property along with your father. A lot of times for capital gains purposes, we buy property along with our parents, right? So if you buy with your father and you have another brother or sister who's not part of the transaction, right? So the bank might ask a NOC from that particular family member, right? So be very careful whenever you are trying to, buying a property along with your family member. First, you reach out to your banker and understand whether the loan can be given or not. If the loan can be given, what are the terms and conditions around it? There are some banks who will charge a little higher rate of interest if you are buying a property along with your brother. Another example, suppose you are 40 years old and your father is about 75 years old, which means the tenor that you can get in the loan, if the father is also a part of the loan, is about 10 years at max. Again, bank to bank that varies. So it's very important if you are buying a property jointly with another family member, especially your father, your mother, or your brother or sister. Be careful about it. Inquire with the bank first on their terms and conditions, and then see whether you can still go ahead with the transaction, being the same kind of property ownership or not. I'll give you a very fine example of this. Yesterday, a client reached out to me and she was buying a property along with her mother who's 80 years old. So immediately I triggered this, no, you don't keep your mother along with she was just adding mother for sentiments purpose, right? So I said, don't add your mother in the loan for sentiments purpose, because that will hinder the loan process, because you will not, she's 80 years old, the bank will not give you more than 5 years tenor, right? So she might have got stuck with this. So it's important that we understand this and plan our finances accordingly. Thank you so much.